Hi, this is Matthew with Marble Gems, bringing you another video on a Marble Monday. Last week I showed you some of the Tennessee and Kentucky Flint marbles that I have made, and some of them that were given to me by marble makers back in Tennessee and Kentucky. This week what I wanted to bring you is some of the rough material and talk about it and explain why it makes such great marbles and where it's found and what it looks like. So let me show you what we got. So back in the Tennessee area and north central Tennessee and southern central Kentucky, there's the geography back there is the ground is made out of lots of limestone, and consequently you find lots of different types of fossil. Down in the bottom of the stream beds where the weather has beaten down the mountains and worn them down into little valleys, you'll find these hard stones. And this is what they look like when you find them. They just look like that, you know. And you walk along a stream bed, you'll find these stones, and they're not smooth. They're because everything around them can't wear them out. The sand doesn't wear them out. It just cleans off all the outside stuff. And when you find something like this in a stream bed, if you're carrying a hammer with you, you can strike it and it'll fracture in this sharp fracture like this. But like I was telling you, is these are formed kind of like a geode. And here's one that's not broke open. This one's not broke open. You can see it has those shards on there that indicate that this is really hard chert type of material. And but here's one that's been I've cut that it was found just like this, but you can see that it's really pithy in the center, and it's I'm not exactly sure how these are formed, but my guess is that it begins as some sort of like a calcium deposit, that then the calcium is replaced by silica dioxide, or the material that makes up agates and other types of microcrystalline quartz. But when you find a stone like this, you'll notice that here it's kind of sandy, and this stuff isn't very good. But out here on the outside edge, there's enough material, an inch or so, that makes really great marbles. And they won't moon and chip off. They'll make a little dimple on them, but they're super tough. And so this material just makes really great marbles. Here's another example of some material. Now the outside of this one won't make great marbles because it's kind of sandy, but in the center here it's more translucent and it'll make a good marble. Here I've cut some, and you can see how translucent it is. It kind of gets sandy in the middle, but out here on the outside edges and even into the center some is really good material. It doesn't have any pits in it. It doesn't have any indications, and it's fairly translucent. So this whole thing would make really great marbles. Here's another piece of that same piece I cut off, and I cut it into slabs about 13/16, not quite 7/8, but sometimes up to 7/8. So I have plenty of material to make a marble with. Here's a little piece I picked up, and you can see this one has these little vugs or pits in it. But if I can get a good piece out of this, this is fairly translucent. It's not the yellow stuff, but right in this region here, right here, will make a good marble. And I'll just take and cut that and trim it down. This piece of material was my favorite. This one was really nice, but as I got to one side, it wasn't as yellow. But this part right here, at the tip of my thumbnail, is the yellow. It's like honey or butter, and it makes super good marbles. And when you can find a piece of this flint That's what they call it. It's thick all the way through of that yellow stuff. It makes a really prized marble that will last you for years and years and years. And it's much more denser. It's some guys claim that they can tell the difference just by picking it up, that it's a little bit heavier by a gram or two. Okay, setting that stuff aside. And here's an example of, even though this looks like it might be a good marble and it's kind of yellow on the outside, you cut into it and it's a lot of pits in it. So this, I might be able to make a good marble out of that. I might not be able to. But those pits like that indicate, it'll make a so-so marble if you're real desperate. Here's some more of this piece right here that is very translucent. It's kind of a milky color, and it's kind of interesting because it has some yellow over here and red. And I might make a marble that's close to that band there to see if I can get like a little bullseye that's yellow and red. It's a pretty cool piece. Here, there's another piece here that, you know, I picked it up and that's what it looked like that. I'm like, oh, cool, a yellow piece. And I could see through here, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, it's going to be yellow. But when you cut into it, it's got these little bugs in it. But I think that maybe over here on this side, as long as there's no fractures, it's going to make a great marble. I think I already showed you that piece. So when I bring these home, I'll start cutting into them. And, you know, this is what it looks like when I find it in the stream. Then I'll cut a piece off of it to kind of check it out. And this is going to make a really nice marbles. As I cut into it a little bit more, get away from that. It doesn't have any cracks or flaws, but it kind of has some of these yellow stripes in it, and then it has these little cells in there. And it's not fractures, it's just the way that it's structured, and it'll make a really cool looking marble for a flint. And, you know, I pick up these pieces and they're kind of flat and narrow, and I think, oh, those will make great marbles. But I notice also, see these little pits here? As I cut into them, I can see that they've got pits inside, but right here on this side over here might make a good marble, maybe not. I kind of set those aside and cherry pick the good stuff. But, you know, this piece right here, it's just in the box right now, and eventually I'll get to it and cut it up. It's not the best stuff. It's kind of this milky white. It'll make a pretty decent marble. This big stone right here, it has the possibility of, when I cut into it, it'll make some really good milky white marbles that are very translucent. It may be mostly solid all the way through, but one of the things I'm concerned about is these fractures like this, like run across it like that. How deep do they go? They might go all the way through it, and then in the center I would find something like this, you know, a big hollow spot, or something like this where it's sandy. And so I don't know, I just kind of set it aside, and I haven't really done anything with it. But, so when I get these stones, I start cutting them up. And let me show you some of the pieces I've cut up. I cut them up into squares like this, and sometimes I trim the corners off. But I kind of grade them as I cut into them. See, this marble right here, it has some really interesting structures in it. It's not necessarily flaws, it's just the structure of it. But I've made, this piece was given to me by David Gibson, and I cut it all up into squares. I don't hardly have any of it left, but it was a piece that he picked up down there near Standing Stone State Park and brought it to me in Utah when he was traveling out to California. And I made him a marble that night when he brought it in, and or he came back through, and I had a marble finished for him. But it makes a super dandy, tough marble. But let me show you some of this stuff here, and some of the yellow stuff that I have. So here's a little piece of yellow, and it's not yellow all the way through, but it's going to make a really great marble. This is one of my last pieces of really good yellow stuff. And it's not yellow all the way through, and over here on this side right here, it's more white and milky, but still it makes a really good marble. This is a really good milky white piece. It's not yellow, but you can see how translucent it is compared to some others. This makes really good marbles. This one is a piece of yellow that's got some yellow in it. you can see how yellow that part is and how white that is. And this would have come from near the edge of that stone. Here's one of the last pieces, also some of the yellow that I have, and it'll make a nice little marble for a lady or somebody that likes to a boy that likes to shoot little marbles. This is a piece, and you can see it's got some of those pits in it, and it's not as nice, but I'll make something out of it. It'll make an interesting marble, if not one to just keep in your pocket. Here's another piece that I think it's no, it's a different piece, but it's it will make a super nice marble. That's what it looked like when I found it. That's the raw surface there, and when I cut into it, I was really impressed how translucent it's going to be. That's the stuff that David Gibson gave me. Let's see, is that a piece of flint? Yeah, that is a piece of flint, and it nearly looks like it has banding in it, but that's what it looked like when I got it. That was the skin, and I cut into it. I'm like, wow, that's really cool, but this will make a really great marble. This is a little tiny piece that I was just going to make a 5/8 marble for one that you shoot at. But here's one of the problems. I'd cut into it and it'd have all these pits in it. This is the kind of a piece that I probably won't make a marble with. Maybe, maybe not, just depends. But I got all this other material to choose from, so why make one of that? I just put it over in the box that is, flaws and stuff like that. Here's another really translucent piece. This will make a super, super good marble. It's not the buttery yellow. This isn't flint. This is the next piece I'm going to make a marble out of. But here's some more that I've cut into cubes. Really good piece. Another really good piece. Another really super good piece. Very translucent. Here's a piece of one of the last pieces of the yellow that I have. That's really nice. And one of the other pieces of yellow that I have, you can see that yellow right there, but the rest of it is pretty white, but it's still translucent and very dense. And here's a bunch more pieces that they're kind of the seconds. They don't make it to the top of my table here, but still some of them, like this piece right here, this will make a good marble. And I just get all these pieces and I kind of grade them and look at them and like, would that make a good marble? Because, like I said, this one right here would make a good marble. It's very dense. This piece, not so good. See all the little pits in it? And this one has, the cool thing about this one is it has a bunch of little microfossils in it. So this one I would make a marble out of it just because it was interesting, not necessarily to play with it. This right here is a really, really choice piece. It's not the real yellow stuff, but it's really translucent. It's totally solid. I mean, it makes a really fabulous marble. This was a piece that came back there in Tennessee, but it had all these red stripes in it. And even though it has these sandy pits in it, I'm going to make a marble out of it just because it's pretty. So, anyways, lots of stuff here. But, this kind of stuff right here is not sought after by people looking for interesting stones to make jewelry with. It would make really pretty jewelry because if you set it in a setting with silver or brass or something like that and made a pendant out of it, it has really interesting structures and it polishes up like nothing else. So it could be used by somebody that was in that area that liked to make stuff and make pendants and rings and brooches and things like that out of stone. It would, because there's some really interesting structures in it, and when it's polished up like this right here, that would make a beautiful stone to put in a pendant. Very natural, very earthy, silicon dioxide. It has, some people say that these stones, because they're silicon and they're quartz, they have like healing and energy properties even. So But something like this, if you found this and cut this up, this would make a beautiful pendant or a ring or a brooch or a belt buckle or a bolo tie, you know, anything that you wanted to set a stone in and make a cabochon out of it. I wanted to show this one last piece here. This is a rock, I believe that David Gibson, he came through and he called me up. He was going through Colorado and coming into Utah, and he called me up and he said, hey, what's a great place that we could go rock hounding? And so I got on a web page like Rock Hounding Utah and found a place that he was going to be driving through, and told him to stop by this place called Dewey Bridge. It's right on the Colorado River. As soon as you get into, and you know, 100 miles into Utah off of, I think it's I-80. Yeah. Anyways, David picked up some of these stones, and I kind of told him what to look for, you know, and he's a little bit of a rock hound. Anyways, David picked up some of these stones, and he brought me back a 5-gallon bucket, and we kind of sorted through them, and then I cut them open. And I was just amazed. When I was cutting these up on my trim saw, I was just dumbfounded at how hard they were. So I wrote on it, very hard, Dewey, and indicating it came from the Dewey Bridge area. But I've made marbles out of this, and they're awesome. They look like little planets, and I just love them. Anyways, so that's the material that comes from Tennessee and making marbles out of it. Anyways, thanks for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below and like and subscribe my page and share it on Facebook. And if you like to rock hound, I do too. And I like to make marbles. That's mainly what I do, but I do make other things. I just haven't done it for a long time. But let me know if you have any requests to make a marble. Let me know if you want to buy one, and I'll make arrangements. I'm posting new marbles on my Etsy page, Marble Gems, every week, and you can buy marbles range anywhere from $12 to $30 depending on the material that I make them out of, and some of them are pretty rare materials, and some of them are just extraordinary marbles, and it's like one marble out of a 2-pound stone, so you get like a little 2-ounce, 1-ounce marble out of a 2-pound stone, and it's just extraordinary type of marble, and so they sell for $25 to $30 because they're collector's pieces. Anyways, thanks for joining me again. Have a great night. Bye.